keeping a quorum on the commission is not good enough reason to date somebody. So.
Two till.
That's on the same level of marrying someone to be in the country.
We already.
Well,
so whenever
It's kind of like that, but
it's all-
we have a lot of those that
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
playing by those rules right now anyway,
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
So I think that, yeah. We really need to get rid of this page. And the new flow chart. Okay. Now, what do I got left in these?
You do. So there you go, we don't have to roll call.
That helps.
Oh, I do have copies. All right. So table one, I have a spare copy. Okay.
Was that the new
Two
one?
spare, yeah, this is as of last summer. So it's not new anymore. It was new. Unless, has the county commission changed the rules again on this? The last set of changes. we
Not since
had.
last summer.
Summer, okay, so that's correct. That's it. Yeah, it's correct. Man, that's not it. It's right there. Completely unofficial.
Good already?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, posting at 6 o'clock, I'm gonna call the Monroe County Animal Management Commission meeting for May 6, 2024 to order. First thing on the agenda would be the approval of the March 4th, 2024 meetings. We did not have a quorum.
In April, we did.
In April, so we're doing the approval of March minutes. So everybody had a chance to review them, look them over.
Yes. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
We have a second?
A second.
Okay. All those approval of the March 4th, 24 minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, signify by saying nay. Will there be abstentions? No. They're going to pass unanimously, okay? On to new business.
Oh, no. Well, even with minutes,
Yes,
Marshall was on here, but with minutes, our town attorney had said that you can still vote, you don't have to abstain.
Right.
It's,
Okay.
yeah, so
we're all good then.
It always confuses me, I apologize.
if it's a tie, she suggests that's when you abstain.
New business, we got the Pension Managers, Freddie Fox, and they're here today, and is that your case? Okay, you want to come on up or sit there and let us know what's going on with this? Yeah, that's fine.
On March 11th, I was contacted by another officer regarding a dog bite that he was dispatched to. He contacted me via email saying the dog had gotten off its property and went to the neighbor's home, went inside the home and attacked a small dachshund, causing injury. He provided contact information for me. Made contact with Mr. Deckard. He was the owner of the dachshunds. He advised that the incident took place on Sunday, stated that his daughter was taking groceries into the home, and the front door of his home was open. And while they were taking groceries in, dog came off of its property, made its way into the front door of their home, and attacked their dachshund, Luca. Mr. Deckard stated that his dog had injuries to its neck, and was taken to the vet that night that the incident took place. So after speaking with Mr. Deckard, I went and spoke with the other owners of the dog at their home, spoke with Ms. Fox. She advised that Freddie, their pit mix, was her daughter's, and the dog was living at their home while the daughter moved. Advised that Freddie was from the shelter and had been living with her for about 6 months. Ms. Fox stated that they're unsure how Freddie got off the tie out that he was on. she was advised of quarantine times and the requirements for her and the dog during that time. And was requested rabies vaccinations immediately. And the daughter did provide those to me that day. And all the quarantine and everything was finished up and no issues were reported with Freddie.
Have there been any priors for this?
No.
Okay,
And you were provided medical vet records from the vet with pictures of the injuries and everything that they had done for the dachshund as well.
Does anybody know, like, how the fight started? Did the dog come in and immediately jump on the other dog? What?
It wasn't really told. They just said that the dog went in the front door and got on the dog and did it.
You have a chance to minute. Okay. Any other questions?
for clarity, where did the attack occur, on whose property?
It happened on the Deckards, I believe was their name,
So the owner of the.
Small dog.
of the dachshund.
Yes, of the victim.
So ran into their house.
It went into the dachshund's home and attacked it in the
In the
home.
home, okay.
You good? Okay, thanks, sir. Okay, who would like to speak? Or both of you would like to speak, or? I need you to come up here, whoever, and speak, say your name.
We can get a second chair. This is what I should-
It's okay. I was just gonna say, yes, everything he said is correct, and then,
What's your name?
Sarah Fox.
Okay, sure.
Everything he said is correct, and I did talk to the neighbor, and we talked about it, and their door was open, which we still, I'm not sure how Fred got off the leash, but anyway, their door was open, it was just a freak thing. He got off at the same time, their door was open, he went in their house, and their dog was scared because there was another dog in the house. That's when they got into a fight. We have resolved everything with the neighbors, we've taken care of their vet bills and everything, and I think we're in good standing with each other. And we still have the dog, but we made sure that we got a different clip or whatever for the collar, and he hasn't been able to get off of it since, so.
And this was the first time this dog's had any incidents, right? Correct.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, it was a freak thing. I've never even heard this dog growl. So I'm not sure if their dog was upset, this dog got upset. I mean, it was just one of those crazy
Those freak
things.
things.
Yes, and luckily their dog is fine now, so.
Cool, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
No,
Okay.
Are you, Ms. Decker?
No, I'm not involved with
Oh,
that.
okay, cool.
Okay.
So just so everyone knows what we're here for, this isn't punitive. This is basically, we've been asked by the sheriff's department to review the behavior of the dog to determine whether the dog needs to be, whether it fits one of the 3 statutory classifications in the county. And if the dog's behavior does rise to those levels, then there are certain things you have to do to make certain the dog doesn't do it again. You know, essentially, it's a public safety thing, so.
Yeah.
May I read the?
You may.
Thank you. So he's the chairman, I just kind of take over sometimes. So what we've been asked by the sheriff's department to evaluate is whether or not the dog fits the definition of potentially dangerous. Okay. And the definition of potentially dangerous from county code is any animal while off the property owned, lawfully occupied or controlled by the owner or keeper of the animal, either 1, causes injury to a person from a single unjustified bite, the rest of it's about persons, that's not applicable. Or 2, when unjustified causes severe injury or causes injuries leading to the death of a domestic pet or domestic livestock. If the circumstances or injuries are egregious, the commission may determine that this animal is dangerous. So we're being asked first to determine whether we think what's the dog's name again? I'm sorry, Freddie?
Freddie.
But thank you, Freddie, rises to the level of potentially dangerous. And it's essentially, as it was off your property, as it was an unjustified attack, as the victim was a pet, and I believe, in my estimation, there were severe injuries. It seems to me, my reading of the code would support a potentially dangerous declaration. We do have to consider, if we do declare potentially dangerous, we do have to consider whether this was particularly egregious and whether a dangerous declaration is warranted. Whether or not the sheriff's department has asked us, we still have the obligation to do that. But in my estimation, reading of the code, I would say this is a textbook potentially dangerous.
Okay.
So, any questions for me or?
Any questions?
So, so severe injury is multiple bites, broken bones, muscle tears, disfiguring lacerations, multiple sutures. So, I mean, we had definitely some cleaning and surgery involved. So yeah, but if you look at the original picture. So this is where I need some follow-ups to see what it looks like. So the original picture, there's 2 deep punctures. Then the vet opened it up and closed it with multiple sutures. So, I mean, my concern is it appears with the first that it's going down into, and when it's open, that there's actual muscle and it's fairly deep. Is that what everybody's seeing? Is that why we would quantify this as severe?
Do you want to know a
Please.
veterinary perspective?
Yes.
Okay, the vet perspective is that the jugular vein is visible in one of those pictures, so it's, I mean, one step farther and the jugular vein would have been punctured and that would have been a life-threatening emergency. Also with shaking of the neck, there are so many vital structures and it looks like that happened, or at least chomping of the neck, that a lot of damage beyond what you can see here can happen. The trachea is there, the esophagus is there. So that's one of the most vital places that can be attacked or life-threatening. And oftentimes in these attacks of little dogs, there are bite marks that, I don't know, I'm assuming the little dachshund was flipped up other places and chest x-rays were probably hopefully done, but there's damage that sometimes can't be seen as well. But what can be seen in these pictures would have been life-threatening in itself, even just the shock of it, the little dog. Sorry.
No, that's exactly what I was asking that question.
And that's also a really good question, because the way I'm interpreting the code, it says that requires multiple sutures. Whether the sutures are required due to the damage caused by the attack, or if the sutures are required due to the remedy required caused by the damage done by the attack. I don't know if we're splitting hairs, but it's a good question to ask, because sutures were required by the end of the procedure because the attending vet needed to open up because of the damage. So were the sutures required because of the attack, or were the sutures required because of the treatment? But the treatment was required because of the attack, so it might not matter.
No, yeah.
But it's a good question because we've not considered that before.
And then the third, so we have off property, we have severe injury, so then we have unjustified. I mean, as it seems as much as we know, that would be the case.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Going into another home, like that dog going out and doing, I wouldn't say if it's barking or anything, that would be justified.
We don't use the word provoked any longer, but I don't think the attack was provoked. So in my estimation, I would, even though unjustified is a different word, I would equate the two.
I think he said the dog was scared. The little dog was scared and probably hiding or.
was the little dog neutered or spayed? you know?
What's that?
The litter
I
dog.
don't know.
Not sure.
Just as female, those who
I
are
have
in
to
the
go
background.
further than what I can see in the report that you guys haven't seen.
I mean, it's one of those scenarios, even though it's just one of those weird coincidences that it happened. It's the reaction that, the way it did happen that kind of pushes this in this direction.
And-
Which,
We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hard to
The
say.
other dog may approach Fred and it was on.
Right.
Who knows?
And so part of the declaration is with, and, I mean, I would support potentially dangerous. I'm not sure I would support a more severe in this case. And part of that is because there's a lot, we don't know, potentially dangerous at this point is a chance for the next year, to kind of keep track of that and make sure that there's no progression with any kind of aggression issues, other issues coming forward. After a year of no other offenses, that declaration can be removed. So it comes back. So it's just kind of a nice stopgap. So we kind of keep an eye on this dog for a year. So I would move to declare, I don't think on the dog's name,
Freddie.
Fox, no, Freddie,
Great.
potentially dangerous.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a second?
Down here.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? If not, roll call for all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. So,
So to let them know.
Sure, yeah.
So what that basically means, what the requirements are for the next year is basically Freddie needs to stay indoors or in a secured outdoor area from which he can't escape. So think of that. Needs to be leashed at times when you're out walking with him. Can't be more than 6 foot in length, so no zip kind of leashes. Needs to be under the control of an adult and needs to be microchipped if he's not already. So those are the requirements on potentially dangerous. So hopefully it's nothing that's too outside of probably things you're already doing right now. When it moves to the next dangerous type of thing, that's why, as Virgil said, spending this year to just kind of watch if he does have any trigger situations or anything like that. But if not, then you come back and this can be taken off.
So give it 12 months. And then if everything's cool for 12 months, give us a call, come back. That would be May of next year, or if it's in May in a day, it might be June. The time you've got to be told.
I do have a question
That'd be one, yeah.
with this chart. Is this a mistake? Under dangerous, is the signage must say potentially dangerous?
Yes, that's what's in the code.
Was that?
It's a boo-boo in the code.
Okay.
Yeah. The chart is
So
right.
They don't need
The
to
code
put-
is wrong.
Okay, so they don't need to put any signage up.
good?
So,
Okay,
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And our apologies again for last month.
That's okay. Thanks.
Okay, moving on to two. Proposal for change to the MC code 450-3 Animal Management Commission membership. Virgil, you have the floor.
So, as I think everybody here is aware, it's been,
Okay, I can feel a little better.
has it been 2 years that we've been short 2 members? So per 440-3, our membership should be 9 members, and we've been short 2 for the past 2 years. And we've got some transitions coming up as well with current board members. So I would like to propose that we ask the commissioners to adjust the ordinance from 9 members down to 7, which would make our quorum requirements at 4 rather than 5. It's not a big change, but it's just a little bit of a change.
Because we have a very tight situation now.
Right.
Where would we be cleaving the 2 members from?
Excellent area. So,
Cleave.
so the easiest way would be under subsection A, which is 5 citizens selected by the Board of Commissioners. So that's A. B is 1 citizen selected by the town of Ellisville. C is 1 citizen selected from the Animal Control Commission of the City of Bloomington. D is one shall be the director of the animal shelter, and then E1 should be the Monroe County Sheriff or an appointee of Monroe. So those would be the options, and I would think the easiest would be just to go from the 5 to the 3, but I'm open for.
What, for the commissioner appointments?
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree. And we have, what's the
Justin.
Justin?
Yes, can you hear me?
So you think this is possible, would you bring this in front of the commissioners, or how would that go about then?
I have already drafted something. We've done this for other boards as well. So I've drafted a little something that I can send to somebody to look at, Virgil to look at, you to look at, whoever would like to look at it. And then we would just put it on the commissioner's agenda, and then they would determine whether or not that was something they wanted to do. I'd assume the same thing. It seems to make the most sense to me since we have the 2 vacancies for 2 of the 5 commissioner appointments, that just taking that number down to 3 and the total board down to 7 would be the way I do it. So I think it would be best if I just sent out my draft. And then maybe at the next board.
I'm terribly sorry. I shouldn't be talking while you're talking. My bad.
Oh, no. I didn't know if you couldn't hear me. So I can send out the draft and we can get that process started. However you'd like to go about it.
So do we need a motion on the floor and then to vote on this as a board?
It's not our decision though, is
So
it?
it's not our final decision, this is just a recommendation. So,
Recommendation.
so yeah, I would say make a motion to recommend the changes to the ordinance.
So
moved. So moved. I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes. Motion.
I didn't quite hear it because it got so moved before it
Okay.
was done.
The motion is to request the commissioners to adjust the ordinance 440-3, A, from 5 shall be citizens of the select, well, it'll be more than that, sorry. Let me start over. So it's 440-3, Animal Management Commission membership, to reduce the number of members from 9 down to 7, with subsection A go from 5 to 3.
And that's what William, he knew what he was going to say, that's why he knew.
Yep.
So.
I put a bug in his ear.
That's
Well, he had already said what the plan was, so.
So our request goes forward to the commissioners.
While we're on this topic, I've got a quorum question. It's my understanding that quorum is a majority of the membership of the commission, including vacant seats, as opposed to a majority of the seated members of the commission.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So we have 9 members of the commission, but only 7 members, but we require 5 of the 7 for a quorum, not 4 of the 7.
Correct. But this would lower it down.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All good. Okay, got that down. Okay, on to reports and discussion. Animal shelter.
We are plugging along. We had one of our first fee-waived animal adoption events last week. We actually had 2 to get some animals out of the door while we had a short week of some in-service training on our dog play group. So those went well. We got a carrier number out. We are back packed with dogs in the shelter. We took in, with a county case today, we just took in 6 dachshunds. So we've got a bunch of moving through.
I'm picturing 6-meter dogs.
There's 2
Wow.
more
Packed
now.
with buns, yeah.
So we are continuously full of dogs. Mostly number-wise, we're a little bit over intake of last year, but a lot of it just has to do with flow through not being as quick. Cat-wise, we're actually taking in substantial more than the previous year, but our flow through has been great. So we're not seeing the same stress on our kennels with cats.
Is it that we are at the end of the school year and we see surrenders from students that are leaving? It's not happening anymore?
No, this is the first third of the year, so this is January through April. So most of that would not be related to students. We get a few as the apartments switch out, more demand coming through. But with our dogs and our dog kennel numbers, that has been fairly consistent over the last year. So there hasn't really been change there.
Okay. You got anything, officers?
I don't think so.
I just have one thing, if you know. Dan Best took another job within the county. He's now with Wasteland Maintenance. So he is no longer with us. We have an open position for an animal management officer, which we'll be advertising soon. And hoping to get it filled soon.
So we've got
Now two. Yeah.
two, okay.
Yeah. That's all. Legal, Justin, do you have anything for us?
Nothing particularly exciting. I'll shoot around to Virgil, whoever wants it, the rough draft of the ordinance that I'm thinking about. If you want to let us know what you think, and you can pass it around to the rest of the board. And then we can get that on the commissioner's agenda as quickly as we can. But that's all I've got.
All right, thanks. Okay, on to animal management commission discussion. Do we have anything else to discuss? No, we're all happy.
What's going on?
We- I can talk about our garden project, but we do have 2 people coming off this year. So we do, even if we decrease our positions, we do still have positions to fill. So keep reaching out to people to have them apply.
Want to talk about what? You want to introduce or
Oh, I came partly as public interest, and then I also have concerns. I had a situation, March 13th, my neighbor's dogs, which get out a lot. I have pages of text, if anybody would actually want to read them, where I have to constantly ask him, let me know when your dogs are put back out, because my dogs stay in the front yard. I have collars for them. They don't wander. His dogs come into my yard. So on this particular day, my daughter came by with her dog. We have 2 dogs in the home right now. We have our dog, which is a little Yorkie, and then my son and daughter-in-law live with us, and their dog is there as well. She came by and picked up their dog to take it to the dog park and brought her dog over to play fetch, because she loves to run and just play fetch. She stays in the back, and then we go back in the house. While we were out playing fetch, we got 2 throws in, and 2 of his dogs came into my backyard. Our properties were just divided by brush and whatever. They apparently saw her running, playing fetch, came over and proceeded to chase her. She beelined for the back door. As I was trying to hurry up and get to the back door to open it, to put her back in, his pit mix was right on her heels. I stuck my arm out to keep his dog away from mine. I got bit. So called the animal control. It was right around 3:30, because I kept thinking, oh good, they're still there, So I called animal control. The bite wasn't severe. Luckily, I jerked my arm back, but she got me twice. Added, I think, 5 or 6 punctures. The last one's just about healed. So got her. They're more afraid of people, and they go after animals more than they do people. Okay, if they are in my yard and I yell at them, they'll go back to his property. So I get her in the house. I'm hollering for my daughter. And she comes out back and she's like, what's going on? I said, 2 of Jimmy's dogs were just over here and I got bit. And she's like, oh my God. So she's panicking. So we call animal control. They said, okay, we're going to send somebody out. And he showed Officer Sayers, the one that came out. He's been out there before over these dogs. So when the way our properties are, if we're in our front yard, his driveway is maybe about 100 yards over. So when he gets there, we all go, he pulls into the neighbor's driveway, who owns the dogs. We all walk over there. Jimmy was not home. We're talking to him. And I had texted him. I said, just to give you a heads up, I said, I have to call animal control when your dogs bit me. And we talked for maybe about 10, 15 minutes to Officer Sayer. The dogs were still roaming around, but he said that he couldn't really get them because they were kind of skittish and they stayed clear of us, but they were back on his property. So right as he's leaving, Jimmy, the owner of the dogs, who doesn't live in the home, he just comes by every couple days to feed and water them. The house was sitting empty until, there was somebody living there until about 6 months ago, and he's in jail. So he comes tearing down the road, pulls into his driveway. We turn around to walk back to our house. As we're walking away, he's yelling, well, you started this and I'm gonna finish it. So my daughter is in a panic. She calls 911 because we don't know what he's gonna do. He starts yelling that I'm going over to his property and letting his dogs out, which I would never do that. I'm afraid of his dogs. My dogs had been bitten before by his dogs, but it was very minor. So I didn't report it or anything, kind of try to be decent neighbors, but he did at that point via text, let me know that none of his dogs had shots. And so we just came back to our house. Anytime the sheriff showed up, they talked to us. One car went over to his house to talk to him. Anyway, so needless to say, over the last 1.5 to 2 years, it's been constantly texting him, like, your dogs are out again, your dogs are out, your dogs are out. The goat's out, the goat had butted me in the leg one day. So nothing was really done because from according to what Officer Sheriff told me, is that he said, she said. Even though there were 2 other people that owned property just north of this property, which is in pretty close proximity, and they had been out there working on the property all day and had seen his dogs out and saw his dogs run into my backyard. But he wasn't given a citation or anything like that. I think it was maybe a verbal warning or even a written warning, but it wasn't like, no penalty, no foul. You know, like it, which was like, well, I was kind of surprised that their dog is now being considered potentially dangerous because it bit another dog. I mean, I got bit and it was like, it was no big deal. So then on March 29th, I was actually out for the evening and my daughter texted me and wanted Jimmy's contact info because her boyfriend and my son and his girlfriend were riding the golf cart up the road and saw Jimmy's dogs in a neighbor's yard, converged on something. So the 2 boys get off, well, I should say, get off the golf cart and go running up. Well, the dogs scattered. They were able to scare the dogs away. It was a neighbor's cat that had chased it off their porch into a neighbor's yard and were killing it.
Okay.
And so the sheriffs were called, animal control was notified, sheriffs were called, and I guess because even though the neighbor up the road that takes care of the cat took it in, had it neutered or spayed, I don't remember if it's boy or girl, I think it was boy. You know, fed it, took care of it, and lived on their property, but it was considered feral because they had taken it in as a stray. So again, nothing was done. And supposedly he's now on a watch list where if he has one more violation, then something will be done. But it's just, I know I was informed that you guys have these meetings every month, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go see what's up. What did they do?
Well, this is something that I need to talk to you about personally, so after the meeting, I'd get your contact information and we can go a little bit further into this conversation.
Okay.
Okay?
But I just kind of thought, you know, in one case was feeling much more.
Right.
No,
We appreciate you.
no, we appreciate you coming, and those are the things we have to look
speak
at.
with, I'm sorry, I could not find the paperwork or anything now. I called one day to speak with Officer Sayer or leave a message for him, and his supervisor actually answered the phone. And I spoke with him for quite a while. And he gave me the name of the person that works in the sheriff's department that's like the commander over.
That's me.
That's you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Russell Berman.
Okay, he gave me your name, but I wrote it down, but I could not find the paper. But, and I don't even remember the gentleman's name that I spoke to that morning. He's like the supervisor in that office, but you're his boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I spoke with him at Great Plains, and it just seems like nothing really.
Okay, I'll get with you here in a little bit
Okay.
and just me information from you. Okay.
Thank you for coming, though.
But, yeah, so that was my main reason for.
And the right person you talk to is right.
Yeah, you like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else on it? Need a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn and second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
I should have not let you get the whole thing out.
True. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We're adjourned. Okay.
Wow.